Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. President Donald Trump is now getting shredded over this.
I am the friend of police more than any president that's ever been in this office.
And to try and prove he is the friend of police, despite pardoning hundreds of January 6 rioters who were convicted of assaulting law enforcement officers, Trump pointed to another set of pardons he is issuing.
I'm going to be letting two officers from Washington Police, D.C., I believe they're from D.C., but I just approved it. They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal, and I guess something happened where something went wrong, and they arrested the two officers and put them in jail for going after a criminal, a rough criminal, by the way.
But the facts of that incident with the two police officers contradicts nearly everything President Trump said. First, the man who was killed, Corone Hilton Brown, was not an immigrant. Second, Brown was on a moped when two D.C. police in an unmarked cruiser began following him. As the Washington Post reports, Hilton Brown then crashed his rented moped on the night of October 23, 2020, during a pursuit that authorities said violated police policy and was illegally reckless. Authorities said Officers Sutton and Zabowski later lied about the incident to forestall a potential civil rights investigation. Trump's claim about pardoning officers who were involved in the death of an illegal immigrant when in fact the victim was a black man on a moped came during questions about Trump's pardoning of all the January 6 convicted felons.
You would agree that it's never acceptable to assault a police officer,
Sure.
right? So then if I can, among those you pardoned DJ Rodriguez, he drove a stun gun into the neck of a D.C. police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything. But I can say this. Murderers today are not even charged. You have murderers that aren't charged.
While it's true that some people who murder other people are not caught and therefore do not get charged, some killers are caught and charged. Likewise, 1,500 people were caught, charged, and convicted for the January 6 riot. More than 400 admitted or were convicted of assaulting police. Trump's pardons contradict a pledge made a week ago by his new vice president, J.D. Vance.
If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned, and there's a little bit of a gray area there, but we're very much committed to seeing the equal administration of law.
The unequal administration of law and the Trump pardons, including the end of prison sentences for people who assaulted and injured police, has sparked an uproar on Capitol Hill. Even some Republican lawmakers are criticizing President Trump.
What I'm trying to do is figure out there are some commutations. To me, I just can't agree. I'm about to file two bills that will increase the penalties up to and including the death penalty for the murder of a police officer, and increasing the penalties and creating federal crimes for assaulting a police officer. That should give you everything you need to know about my position.
People who committed violent crimes on January 6th of 2021 should not be pardoned. And I think this is a terrible day for our Justice Department.
It's wrong to assault anybody, but certainly to assault an officer. And I'm a big back to blue guy.
And former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told Semaphore yesterday, quote, "No one should excuse violence, and particularly violence against police officers."
But other Republicans who don't want to cross Trump are trying to avoid the controversy. It's not going well. Here's Senate Republican leader John Thune.
Are you comfortable with these pardons for January 6th offenders?
Look, as I said, as I've said before, we're looking forward to the next 4 years, not the last 4.
What message does this send to police officers who were there that day?
If we're the party of law and order, what about the officers? What about the people that were attacked? The officers that were attacked that day?
You got to move the mic. Questions of Biden.
Thune's deflection is not helping him. His own Senate supporters say that Thune looks swarmy defending Donald Trump on this. Meanwhile, Democratic lawmakers are not holding back in blasting Trump and trashing his sycophants in Congress.
Congressional Republicans are all ducking and dodging, and I never want to hear them say back to blue ever again after providing political cover for this abomination. These are people who violently assaulted officers of the law while trying to insurrect our democracy. It's not just these pardons, by the way. Last Congress, the Republicans tried to defund the FBI. This term, they're seeking to undermine the ATF's ability to regulate ghost guns. These are weapons that can pass through a metal detector without being detected. All of these things make officers of the law less safe and undermine our ability to enforce the law in this country. And yet they try to claim that they're the law and order party. It's no longer supportable.
For all of the discussion about GOP hypocrisy and Donald Trump's lies, some of the most emotional and poignant conversations lately have involved the very cops who were there on January the 6th trying to ward off the attempted insurrection. Michael Fanone was a D.C. police officer who went to the Capitol and was beaten by 6 rioters who were eventually found guilty of assault. Here is Fanone's reaction to the Trump pardons.
Oh, I have been betrayed by my country. Rest assured, I have been betrayed by my country, and I've been betrayed by those that supported Donald Trump. Whether you voted for him because he promised these pardons or for some other reason, you knew that this was coming, and here we are. Tonight, 6 individuals who assaulted me as I did my job on January 6th, as did hundreds of other law enforcement officers, will now walk free. 6 individuals who have threatened my life and who have made threats towards my family members, as well as countless other January 6th defendants who have threatened me because they see me as a spokesperson for law enforcement for this event. My family, my children, and myself are less safe today because of Donald Trump and his supporters.
Recently, some of those Trump supporters started harassing and attacking Michael Fanone's elderly mother.
My mother has been swatted, a 76-year-old woman who's guilty of nothing other than having a son, a police officer who responded to the Capitol on January 6th. And she's also had human feces thrown on her while she was raking leaves in her front yard. This is who we are as a nation. This is what we have become, and it has been further exacerbated by Donald Trump.
Just days into Donald Trump's second term, there are now polls that indicate Trump's pardons of the January 6th violent felons are widely opposed. And even a clear majority of Trump voters say those pardons were wrong. Will that hurt Donald Trump politically and diminish his standing as president in the days and months to come? Perhaps. And Trump's ongoing lies about police officers, even in other cases, certainly will not help him. In any case, history will always record that America's first convicted felon as president began his term by pardoning other convicted felons, including men found guilty of beating police. And no amount of Trump claims about supporting law enforcement and backing the blue will ever erase the stain of this reality. Trump is fine with people who assault police as long as those people support Donald Trump.
This Lucy in the football eternal dream, this waiting for Godot-like desire to see Trump pivot to be a responsible, today he is now president of everybody moment. It hasn't happened. I don't think it's going to happen. This is an Aesopian thing. His nature is his nature, and he craves, he would much rather positive attention than negative attention, but he'll take negative attention over no attention any day. So he will create many, many, many more moments that create bow-stewing panic for Republican candidates trying to figure out what to say.
By the way, legal experts say Donald Trump is already trampling on the Constitution in his executive order against birthright citizenship.
You cannot executive order your way out of the Constitution. The Constitution, I believe the vast majority of legal scholars, a vast majority who look at the language of the 14th Amendment and the history behind it. Let's remember that the 14th Amendment put into our Constitution after the Civil War to say to Black people and people who were formerly slaves, if you are born in this country, you are a full citizen, full stop. It does not matter what color you are. It does not matter your previous status as a slave. What matters is that you were born here. You are a full citizen.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from August, who wrote of Trump, "He's drunk with power. He's downright evil." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump getting busted for lying about police officers he is pardoning. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.